Hello and welcome to the Crictime Podcast. I'm your host, Mohammed Saleja, joined this week by another special guest, Johns. You might know him as Crazy Johns from Twitter. Johns, welcome to the Welcome to the podcast. Great to have you on. I know it's been a long time since trying to schedule something in and trying to get on, but how are you doing? Welcome to the podcast. And for those of you who may not know, Johns is on Twitter and on social media. Just a quick introduction about yourself.
First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me. It's a pleasure to come to the YouTube channel. It has been a long ride. Last 1 or 2 weeks, we have been chatting a lot, scheduling the time, but it hasn't worked out. But today, it's a great to meet you and to talk cricket with you. So I'm really looking forward to the chat.
Thank you, Johns. Obviously, amazing having you on. But Johns, let's start with the West Indies tour. You were part of that tour, as in you went there and you actually experienced it. You met a few players as well. Saw it on social media. I think Sanju Samson was one of them, and then I think Hardik Pandya as well. How was it meeting the Indian squad and a few players of the squad, and what was it like meeting with them and interacting with them in West Indies?
It was a great experience. First of all, I should thank FanCon for this huge opportunity. And there were lots of people as well. Around 8 to 9 members was there. One was from FanCon marketing team. Then a few influencers from Instagram. They are so big people. They were so kind as well. It's the first time I was traveling outside India. So it was a great experience for me to travel, and the travel was huge as well. We went to Netherlands, from Netherlands to West Indies, Saint Kitts, etc. So it was a huge travel. Then meeting players was so good. This is the first time I met players face to face. I have seen players from the ground, from the stand, etc. But I haven't met any cricketer face to face. So that was great experience, and all the players were so kind as well. Many players gave me the autograph. A few of them shared the photos, etc. So it was a great experience. I met UZ. UC was so kind. We as a group, there were 3 to 4 people during that time. We almost talked to UC around 5 to 6 hours about different things because he was not part of the T20 series. So
Yeah.
he was going day after tomorrow. So around 4 p.m. We started talking. Then it ended around 12 a.m. something. So UC was so kind. Then we talked to Hardik around 30 to 40 minutes. Then with Ishan, with Rishabh Pant, Shubman Gill, etc. We talked around 20, 30 minutes, etc. So that was really good. Then we met few cricketers as well. Some of them gave autograph. Some of them was kind enough to give the photos as well. And there was many people as well, like different Indian fans from US came to watch the match, and we were staying in the same hotel of Indian team as well. So the communication was really very handy due to that. And we mostly talked to West Indies players because FanCode was the broadcasting owners of West Indies Cricket Board in India. So we had the opportunity to meet lots of West Indies players after the match, during in the hotel, etc. So they were very kind as well. They were smiling every time. They talked about different things. They allowed us to take lots of photos, lots of videos, etc. And West Indies Cricket Board, especially their media manager, etc. They allowed us to take into the media room. We watched the third T20 in the press box. Even though the journalist was really less, I think there were only 2 or 3 journalists was there, but they allowed us to take into the press box. So it was a great opportunity. I don't think it will be coming again, but it was huge to meet those cricketers. I think it was one of the dreams to us.
Yeah, no, I think from all the names you mentioned, Yuzi is someone that I've seen around on YouTube on other people's channels, as well as on social media as someone who's very friendly, very interactive, and very down to earth. So yeah, I'm sure it must have been a fun experience to meet all these players and to experience that match in the press box as mentioned. And it was a great T20 as well to watch, so got a bit lucky there in terms of the games. But going into a little bit more serious of a talk in terms of Indian cricket and the way it's heading right now, Rohit Sharma and his captaincy, it's going to be a new era for him. Yes, he's captain of the series in a few series, but his first major tournament as a captain is going to come up in the Asia Cup. And then right after, we've got the T20 World Cup, and then hopefully the ODI World Cup as well in April, if I'm not wrong, in India, which will be held. But John's, what are your thoughts on Rohit Sharma becoming a captain? Because we had Gurkharat last week, and we spoke about how Virat Kohli was kind of pushed out of captaincy. In terms of Rohit Sharma, and he's done so much at Mumbai Indians. What are you looking forward to in his captaincy and the way India's going to play under him?
I think the start has been so good, especially if you see the rotation of the players. Even though there has been lots of critics about there have been lots of captains in this year. We have seen KL Virat leading some of the matches, then Rishabh, then Shikhar Dhawan, then etc. There were lots of captains here and there. Hardik Pandya led a few matches as well, but still the clarity has been really good for this team. We have seen how they are picking the players, they are giving the long rope for certain players, and they are not looking at the stat based thing. If you look at Ishan Kishan or Shreyas Iyer, etc., these guys has most runs in this year for Team India in T20 international, etc. But if you look at the Asia Cup squad, both of them are not in the part of 50 member squad. So they are looking more than stat, how they are going to face that playing 11 or 50 member squad. So these are very good signs moving forward as well. And it's not like they are giving an opportunity to play maybe one or two games. They are giving more opportunities, and they are making the transition period more smoother. Because if you look at after this T20 World Cup, there will be a transition. Like, I don't think Rohit or Virat is going to play the 2024 T20 World Cup. So they are already preparing for that 2024 T20 World Cup as well. If you look at these guys like Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan, Shreyas Iyer, then few others as well. These guys might play the 2024 T20 World Cup. So that transition period, once Rohit or Virat, etc., moves away from T20 format, it will be more smoother. And Rahul Dravid knows that really well. So the transition period will be smoother, and the 2022 T20 World Cup, I think India has a very good chance. If you look at the playing 11, even though they need to make a big call because I don't think Rishabh or Dinesh Karthik will be playing together. It will be a big surprise if they are going to play together. Then they need to drop Virat or KL Rahul. So I don't think manager will be taking that huge call before the World Cup. So one from Rishabh or Dinesh Karthik need to sit down. I think most probably it will be Dinesh Karthik as well. So it will be a huge call as well, because Dinesh Karthik is a designated finisher. We have seen Hardik Pandya moving from number 6 to number 5 as well. So once Dinesh Karthik moves away, then Hardik need to take the finishing role along with Jadeja. So India need to make that calls very soon. We will be seeing that during the Asia Cup. So how that going to span out will be really crucial for Indian team in the World Cup as well. So India need to make few calls. They have an Asia Cup. They have 3 T20 against Australia, 3 T20 against South Africa as well. So they'll be playing against Pakistan, Australia, and South Africa. So that will be giving them a clear picture how they are going to stand in the World Cup as well. So ideally, the start has been really good. They have been really showing very good dominant side as well. And if you look at a few things as well, like in last 1 year or since Dravid and Rohit came in the picture, they haven't played this Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in ODAs. They have played only Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in T20s, mainly looking forward to T20 World Cup and preparing him to be more fit for the World Cup than giving him more game time and training him out before the World Cup. So there are small things they have done really well. We might see Bhuvaneshwar Kumar after the T20 World Cup in ODI format. So these are the small things they have done really well, and that will be beneficial for India in the T20 World Cup as well.
Yeah, I think in the point that you made about India rotating, we've not seen that before. Indian teams do not generally rotate. We've got a set team that we play with, and that's what happens every series, every big tournament. And something India's been doing now is giving other people chances. However, one player who has gotten his chances, Sanju Samson, I don't know what chat you had with him in West Indies, but how he's feeling about his chances to become a regular. He's had his I guess his contributions for India, but he hasn't had a major tournament. Even in the Asia Cup, I don't think he's selected in that squad as well right now. So what is happening in terms of Sanju Samson, someone who's performing really well in the IPL and someone who's played really well under Rohit's captaincy in West Indies as well, I think. But he's not. Is it because he's not doing enough to get into the team in these big tournaments like the Asia Cup, or can we see him in the T20 World Cup maybe added back into the team?
I think it will be really tough for Sanju right now, because if you look at the 50 member squad for the World Cup and the reserve list for the Asia, no 50 member squad for the Asia Cup, and the reserve list for the Asia Cup as well. Sanju is not part of that 80 member squad, so it will be really tough for Sanju, and mainly because if you look at they played Sanju in the top three in T20 format, and they have given that number 5 or number 6 spot in ODI format. So in the top three, Rohit is there, KL is there, Virat is there. So when these three guys comes back, then it will be really tough for Sanju. And it was between Sanju versus Deepak Hooda versus Ishan Kishan versus this Shreyas Iyer. So Deepak Hooda got that opportunity maybe because he can give some overs with the ball. He can provide some, if needed, a 6 bowling option or 7 bowling option for the team. So that might be the reason why they selected Deepak Hooda ahead of them. Because even if you look at Deepak Hooda, hasn't played much games. He has played only 5 or 6 or 7 T20s for India, and he had a great IPL last year for Lucknow as well. That give Hooda that upper hand ahead of Sanju, Ishan, Shreyas, etc. But Sanju will be getting opportunity once the transition period happens. Once that transition period happens, these guys will be getting opportunity who will be get performing really well, might go into the World Cup in West Indies and America. So right now it's really tough because India, if you look at the top three, you can't replace anyone unless India makes a big call by dropping someone like Virat or KL, which won't be happening, and which won't be ideal as well. Just 2-3 months away from the World Cup, and you are dropping a senior guy, it won't be ideal for the preparation, etc. So it will be really tough for Sanju to travel into the World Cup unless someone gets injured in the next few months. Then Sanju might get the opportunity. But other than that, I don't see Sanju going to Australia.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Sanju, as much as he's performed, um, yeah, we can't think about dropping Virat Kohli from such a big tournament. It's regardless of his form or the way he's playing, Virat Kohli needs to be there. Just not just as a number three, not just as a batsman, but as someone who can lead the team. Because as much as Sharma's got the experience, KL Rahul's got the experience doing it in IPL, Virat Kohli is the only one in that team who can do it internationally, and he's done it internationally in the big stage. So yes, we might not have been successful under his captaincy, but Virat Kohli as a player, as a captain, you need someone like Virat Kohli with the presence that he has in the squad. Well, with that being said, the Asia Cup, I think only India and Pakistan are the only two teams who have announced their squad. Looking a little bit towards Pakistan and their squad, what are their chances in this Asia Cup, and how strong of a team have they put up? Someone like Babar Azam, who even today played such an incredible innings against Zimbabwe not Zimbabwe, sorry, Netherlands when we're recording this. But your thoughts on Pakistan and their team in the Asia Cup?
I guess it will be a Pakistan versus India final as well, because I don't see Bangladesh as a great side in T20 format. They are very good in ODIs, but in T20s they are pretty average. So it might be India versus Pakistan final as well. You might see India versus Pakistan 3 times in this Asia Cup as well. So coming to Pakistan, I think if you look at almost the same core from last World Cup, apart from Malik, then few others moving away, and they have invested a few youngsters, etc. But other than that, we might see all the old names who has played last World Cup, and the success mostly depends on how Shaheen going to bowl with that new ball. If he can provide that X factor with the first 2 or 3 overs, then Pakistan can gain the advantage. But it all depends on how Shaheen going to perform. If he can get that top two or top three of Indian team, then Pakistan will be having that upper hand, almost similar to what happened last World Cup. So I believe Shaheen will be the X factor for Pakistan. Their batting has the ability, but still, if Shaheen can't produce that magic with the new ball, it might be tough for Pakistan. But if Shaheen is producing that magic with the new ball, then the batters will be having an easy job as well, because I don't see them chasing 200 plus or 180 plus, etc. Against Indian bowling unit. Maybe that can happen because Bumrah is not there, etc. That might happen, but still, if you take Bumrah as well, if you give that 10 games to Pakistan, they might not chase in the 6 or 7 or 8 games. So it all depends on how Shaheen going to produce the magic with the new ball for Pakistan.
I think you're right in saying that because Pakistan and their bowling attack is what keeps them in games, whether their batsmen are performing or not. We saw it against India as well. What a start they had, and that's how they won the game. Even though yes, their batters performed well on the day. But Asia Cup, I'm a bit skeptical. I don't know what you think about this, but it's going to be one of those cup tournaments where whoever wins the toss wins the game. We saw that last World Cup. It's still in the same venues, and it's going to be around the same time as last year. So the toss is going to be very important for games like there. We saw Pakistan won the toss and they won the game, and I think even Australia to a certain extent, every toss they won the game and they won the World Cup that way. Do you think it'll be one of those, or do you think this time there might be a bit of a difference?
I think it's really tough to predict because it is an early start to the Asia Cup as well. It will be starting in September, August last to September first week. That World Cup happened during, I think, October, November as well. So there is almost a month difference. So it all depends on the climate, etc. So it's really tough to predict, but still, I think it will be going to a very exciting Asia Cup as well, because every team needs to prepare really well, and this will be the final opportunity. Even though India has two series before the World Cup, but you need to announce the team for the World Cup 1 month before. So I believe the last date will be around September 10th or 15th something. So once the Asia Cup finishes, they need to announce the team. So it will be going to be really interesting as well, how Virat going to perform, how Divakuda going to perform if he's getting the opportunity, how Rishabh Pant going to perform, which will be really huge for Team India moving to the World Cup, etc. So they need to make the combinations out, as I mentioned earlier. So Asia Cup will be the final opportunity before the team selection for the World Cup as well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think it'll be very interesting to see who performs well and who doesn't. Yes, the conditions are going to be very different compared to Australia and Dubai and Abu Dhabi, I guess, or UAE. But in the end, India has a great record in Australia in terms of T20s. We've done pretty well in terms of the pace bowling attack that we've got. So that is something that we can really use when we're in Australia for the T20 World Cup. But John's, your quick thoughts on Virat Kohli? I know he's on top of everyone's mind right now, and what's happening with them. Should he retire from cricket, or is this just a slump? And because we've seen Virat Kohli perform to the highest order every year, that even a slump is surprising to a lot of fans. But your thoughts on his future and how long can he play a big part in this team, I guess?
I think he'll be continuing ODIs and T20s for a longer period, at least till the age of 38 or 37, 38, 39. But we might see a T20 retirement after this World Cup. We might see that in T20 format, but in ODIs and Test matches, I don't think he should be retiring or etc. Because he is one of the essential parts of Indian team, and every player goes through this phase as well. It's not like if you look at Sachin or Dravid or any great player who has played more than 10 or 15 years for Indian team, there will be 1 or 2 bad years for every cricketer. So Virat is going through that phase, and every batter goes through that phase as well. If you look at the prime stage of a batter is 27 to 32. Once you finish the 32, you will be going through the tough time. Then every great player come back from that rough patch as well. So I believe we need to give Virat some time. He'll be coming back, and India has home test match as well. After, if you look at two tests against Bangladesh in Bangladesh and four test matches against Australia in India. So he will be having that time. He'll be getting the breathing period, etc. So I believe he'll be continuing ODIs and test matches, but we might see Virat moving away from T20 internationals after this World Cup.
And I think it's the right call. I think it's something that, test matches and ODI is something Virat Kohli is amazing at. And I think he can recover in those formats a lot quicker than as compared to T20s, where there's obviously an Indian squad where it's going to be a lot of rotation and a lot of changes. And it's not going to be long before Virat Kohli's replacement is going to be found. But in terms of Rishabh Pant and his future in the test, and not just test, but in the three formats for India, people saying that, he's the left-handed Dhoni. Is it too early to say that? But as a player, how far off is Rishabh Pant from Dhoni, and if not, how good is he? How better is he from Dhoni?
I think in test matches, I think he has almost carried the legacy. If you look at, maybe he has overcome, he has moved, he has made his own legacy in test cricket, in Australia, in England, in South Africa, etc. I think the only country he hasn't conquered is New Zealand, and I think he has played only one or two test matches. So the sample size is really less to look at the numbers, etc. But wherever he has played more number of matches, we have seen the match winning efforts in test matches, and he has placed his own legacy at the age of 24 or 24, 25, etc. In test cricket. So, but he needs to prove in ODIs and T20 internationals. In ODIs, he has started doing that. If you look at his numbers in last 1 or 1.5 years, he has done so well, even though there has been some low scores. But that is his natural game. Sometimes there will be low scores. Sometimes he will produce the match-winning effort. The only thing he need to overcome is that the numbers in T20 internationals, we might not see his numbers like 30 plus average and 150 plus strike rate, etc. There will be 25 plus, 26 plus average, etc. But still, he need to play that X factor role. That is where I believe this World Cup will be really crucial for Rishabh Pant. I really hope there will be one or two or three innings that produces the magic from Rishabh Pant. We have seen what we have seen in Test cricket. So this World Cup will be really vital for him, and there will be no doubt that he is going to play for next 10 or 12 years for India in all three formats. Maybe he might be the Test captain in future, etc. We need to wait and watch. So I believe he has a great future ahead, and I don't think anyone has the doubt as well. He will be going to be a legend once he retires. So I really hope he does that, because he has got lots of talent. We have seen what he has done in IPL in 2018, 2019, what he has done in Ranji Trophy for Delhi, what he has done in Test cricket, etc. So this is just a start for a great career. And India has got very good talents as well. Rishabh is there, Shubman is there, Prithvi Shah is there, then Jaiswal is there, then bowlers like Kartik Tyagi is coming. So there are very good talents. We might see India ruling cricket in the future as well.
No, I completely agree. I think Rishabh Pant for me, as a player, might be able to get to the legacy of MS Dhoni, might be able to be a lot better than MS Dhoni. But as a captain, I think Dhoni, beating Dhoni as a captain is going to be very difficult for anyone in Indian cricket to do. From what Dhoni's done, in the time as a captain is remarkable, and one of the most incredible feats of cricket or just in sports, in my opinion. So I think I'm very confident. Give Rishabh Pant's got a very bright future ahead. But in terms of captaincy, I've got my concerns, and I think it could go south because a lot of players, someone like Rishabh Pant, I see him playing very freely under different captains, but once he's the captain, I think the pressure of being a captain is going to take away from a lot of it. Moving to talking a little bit about England just before we end it. England, they've come off of a great win against New Zealand, tied that last game against India. Now they play South Africa in a two-test match series, if I'm not wrong. This new Bazball that's come out, the aggressive England style of playing cricket. How much of that is going to affect them in, let's say, the T20 World Cup coming in, or the future matches against India and other teams, and in all three formats. So obviously with Ben Stokes retiring from, if I'm not wrong, it was ODI cricket. If I'm not wrong, yeah.
It's too early to predict. Like Brendan McCallum just came before 4 Test matches as a captain, as a coach in Test cricket. So there will be many challenges he's going to face. They'll be touring Pakistan in December something. They'll be playing 3 Test matches. So these things will be giving more clarity. And it's not like they're going to attack in every ball. If you look at the Test match against India, that was aggression plus constructive defensive as well. It's not like they went after Indian bowling every time. That chase with Joe Root and Bairstow, that was that we have seen a lot in Test cricket. It's not a new kind of stuff, but they used to attack as well, which might be more than players did in the past. That is the only difference I am seeing from that, especially from the India Test match. But against New Zealand, it was like T20 cricket. We have seen 100 plus something from 7 overs or 8 overs. That was huge difference, mainly because some quality in the bowling lineup compared to India. So they'll be facing lots of challenges once they come to subcontinent. Once they are going to play against Australia in Ashes, because they'll be playing Ashes next year in England, but still they'll be facing Pat Cummins, Joe Hazlewood, Giles Richardson, Mitchell Stark, etc. So we need to wait and watch how they are going to overcome that phase. And every team has got that honeymoon period as well. Once that honeymoon period ends, and once you face better quality players, tougher pitches outside your home conditions, that is where the challenge begins. So I'm really looking forward to see how they are going to face the Pakistan team in Pakistan, then Australia in England next year. So that will be the two challenges England need to face. How they are going to overcome that two challenges will be really important for the future as well under McCallum and Ben Stokes.
Yeah, you're right in saying I think the Pakistan series is going to be key because in the subcontinent, a lot of times England and Australia have not managed to do well, and have generally struggled in terms of how they've played and how they tend to play in these conditions. So it'll be very interesting to see whether baseball does actually work the way it has in in the subcontinent. Johns, I'm not going to keep you for too long. I know it's been 30 minutes and you're pretty much a very busy man. So thank you, Johns, for coming on the podcast. Thank you for giving us your time. Really appreciate it. And for those of you watching this, I'm sure you already know who Johns is, but if you don't, make sure to follow him on all of his social media pages. We'll link it in the description below. Johns, once again, thank you for coming on. Appreciate having you, and hopefully having you again soon once the Asia Cup starts, and we'll be more than happy to have you on. But for those of you watching, if you're watching on an audio platform, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Ghana, and add us to your playlist. It really helps us a lot. And make sure to leave a like rating if you're watching it on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel for more podcasts like this, more clips like this, and more content with people like John, with Gurkharat and other creators and influencers on social media. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe.